Welcome to the Family Bible Journey. If you're interested in seeing how the journaling that we mention in the podcast works, check out our website at familybiblejourney.com or look for us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for listening. This is episode 403, season 1 of the Family Bible Journey Old Testament podcast. Today looking at Proverbs chapter 6. The title of today's podcast is All-Consuming Temptations. In our key verses for today, the entirety of Proverbs chapter 6, where we read, My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, have given your pledge for a stranger, if you are snared in the words of your mouth, caught in the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, and save yourself. For you have come into the hand of your neighbor. Go, hasten, and plead urgently with your neighbor. Give your eyes no sleep and your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hand of a hunter, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes about with crooked speech, winks with his eyes, signals with his feet, points with his finger, with perverted heart devises evil, continually sowing discord. Therefore calamity will come upon him suddenly. In a moment he will be broken beyond healing. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. My son, keep your father's commandment, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Bind them on your heart always. Tie them around your neck. When you walk, they will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching is a light. And the reproofs of discipline are the way of life, to preserve you from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of an adulteress. Do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. For the price of a prostitute is only a loaf of bread, but a married woman hunts down a precious life. Can a man carry fire next to his chest and his clothes not be burned? Or can one walk on hot coals and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. None who touches her will go unpunished. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his appetite when he is hungry. But if he is caught, he will pay 7-fold. He will give all the goods of his house. He who commits adultery lacks sense. He who does it destroys himself. He will get wounds and dishonor, and his disgrace will not be wiped away. For jealousy makes a man furious, and he will not spare when he takes revenge. He will accept no compensation. He will refuse, though you multiply gifts. This is the word of the Lord. In chapter 6, there are 4 different kinds of sin that we are warned against. And if we don't want to call it sin, we'll say at least 4 different kinds of foolishness. First is making a pledge on behalf of another person. And this is something that is very common in our culture, especially in the areas of banking and finance, where cosigners are oftentimes necessary, especially for young or inexperienced borrowers to be able to borrow money, not having enough credit, not having enough income to cover their debts to the extent that would satisfy a lender or a financial institution. And so oftentimes parents, grandparents, others will either put up collateral or cosign on a loan. And what I would say is that there is nothing inherently wrong with this. But if you are going to do that, you had better be prepared to pay that bill if it comes due. If we sign up for more than we can handle and are unable then to satisfy the debt that we have put our names on, well, it isn't the other person who's going to pay the price, but rather the co-signer, the person who put forward that pledge, as the text says, for another person. And so if you are thinking of doing so, we just want to do so wisely and not jeopardize the rest of our assets and what we have by putting up pledge for someone else. Here, we are discouraged from putting up a pledge for a stranger or a neighbor, maybe someone that we don't know so very well. And so we just want to watch ourselves. We then are warned against the foolishness of laziness. In my note on verse 6, it says, ants have more wisdom than many. Ants never stop working, as the text describes. And so if we want to be productive human beings, it is good for us to be very careful and manage how it is that we use our time. We should be able to work, to play, to have fun, to invest in relationships, to spend time with loved ones. But too many people feel like we don't have enough time. And busy, I would say, is a cop-out word. In a world where people are spending 4 to 8 hours a day on social media or on screens outside of school and work, I would say the word busy, it is just an excuse. And the reality is that even if we wouldn't want to admit it, many of us are not very disciplined with how we use our time, and we let too much time slip by unproductively to the detriment of our mental and emotional well-being, and also at a great expense to our relationships. Because if we were having conversations or having a coffee or meeting up with friends or family members, those interactions are bound to build us up when the tendency of all digital interactions is to tear people down. And so we want to be very mindful as to how it is that we are using our time. And then we get into this discussion of dissension and adultery. And it is important, especially if you go back and reread this passage, to see how the seduction of adultery is also compared to the seduction of discordant thinking, causing divisions or dissensions, or focusing our minds on our differences to the point that we become the detriment to helpful and healthy relationships. And I have a note on verse 14. It says, beware of those who sow discord, including news media. They are not doing the Lord's bidding. And in this chapter, I have underlined continually sowing discord in verse 14. I've got to underline in black. And I want to put on notice news media, social media, especially those who major in getting people all upset and all whipped up about whatever topic it is, because sowing discord, causing discord, fomenting discontent, this is fear-mongering. And this is how Satan works. He wants to divide. He wants to divide so that he can conquer nations, families. We feel within ourselves the war between sin and righteousness and temptation, and it really drags us down sometimes. Let us be aware of his work in our lives. And this is such an important topic later in the book of Proverbs that Solomon uses his first numbered proverb here in this text. And you'll see in verse 16, there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him. And anytime that we see that in the text, those first 6 things are going to be symptoms or causes of the 7th condition, which is truly an abomination to the Lord. And in this case, listed as evils are proud eyes, lying tongues, hands that shed innocent blood, hearts that devise wicked plans, feet that run quickly to evil, false witnesses who speak lies, and then the linchpin, one who sows discord among brothers. In those previous 6, those are all ways that people seek to sow discord among other people. And so we want to, as God's people, to not give in to these discordant ways, sowing dissension, causing and fomenting and encouraging distrust, and seeking to divide for whatever reason, because this is not the Lord's work in our lives. It is the work of the evil one. He is the one who lies. He is the one who causes confusion, dissension, discord, and whose ultimate goal is to divide so that he can conquer. So even if we think that we are promoting the causes of righteousness and justice, let us be very careful how we wage our supposedly holy wars, using, as St. Paul says, the weapons of righteousness, instead of the tools of the devil, who seeks to deceive, devour, and destroy. And if we aren't watchful, if we aren't wise, he will use us to do it. If you appreciate this podcast as a part of your daily routine and would like to become a monthly sponsor so that others are blessed as you are by the podcast, go to FamilyBibleJourney.com to learn more. Sponsorships are tax deductible and cover our operating expenses like hosting and the services that make this podcast work. Our blessing for today. May you be equipped with wisdom to resist all-consuming temptations such as lust and discordant thoughts and ways. Amen.